There is a desperate race to trademark everything going on right now, and it's going to cost you dearly whether you notice it or not. Don't believe me? Well, what do the words superhero, realtor, face, that's hot, and bam all have in common? They are common words used every day that are actually the legal property of different corporations. And that's not even the craziest thing that companies are silently putting in their vaults of intellectual property.
Kylie Jenner lost the battle to trademark her first name.
In 1998, Namco filed US patent 5718632.
Businesses that use the word face in their name could be met with a legal battle, as Facebook has been given the go-ahead to trademark the word face.
Jim, I'm sorry, you're fired. Get out of here.
You're fired. You're fired. You're fired.
Calls this interocular device. I would call this active eye.
We are always told about the wonders of fair competition, but the truth is, if you run a business, competition fucking sucks. To compete in business, you have to provide a better product, market more effectively, or lower your prices. Getting those first two right is really hard, and lowering prices means less money in your pocket. It would be so much easier if you could just run your competition out of business, and this is genuinely a great business strategy. There's only one problem: it's illegal. And if you aren't smart about how you do it, you are going to find yourself in competition with the Federal Trade Commission in federal court. But there is a way that you can avoid competition and actually have the authorities on your side to defend it, and that's by having a trademark, copyright, or patent to protect your business. These are not all the same, and companies have realized one is much better than the others. A patent protects new inventions or scientific discoveries for a period of 20 years. If you invent a new battery that gives electric cars 2,000 miles of range, you should file a patent so car companies can't use it, without paying you, of course. A patent has to be legally filed with the Patent and Trademark Office. If a patent is very complicated, it can take a long time to get approval. But in the meantime, your invention will be patent pending, which has no legal protection by itself, but it will warn other businesses that they will be wasting their money creating the same product because they won't be allowed to sell it if your patent is eventually approved. A copyright automatically applies to any creative work. If you write a song, make an original video, or paint an artwork, copyright will automatically apply to that work and will stay in place for 70 years after your death. No filing is required for creative works, but it can be harder to legally prove copyright in court if someone does copy what you are doing. A trademark is the best of both a patent and a copyright combined. And there are 3 reasons why applications for this kind of protection have tripled in the last 10 years, according to data from the US Patent Office and Statista. A trademark gets legally filed with the Patent and Trademark Office, so it's easy to officially defend and it lasts forever as long as basic renewal documents are submitted every 10 years. Trademarks are, to use the legal terminology, totally fucking OP. The only problem with trademarks is that they only apply to elements that are clearly related to the branding of a business. For example, a logo like this or this can be trademarked because they clearly relate to the branding and identity of a business. Trademarks can also be applied to iconography, like Mickey Mouse ears could be trademarked, but a movie like Mickey Mouse Steamboat Willie cannot be trademarked because it's creative work, not branding. Steamboat Willie actually entered the public domain just 2 weeks ago. If you are a crafty businessman, you can really corrupt the intention of what trademarks are meant to do by claiming a catchphrase, sound, image, or even a word as part of your branding. If the overworked trademark officer reviewing the claim approves it, then you have an untouchable business advantage that will last forever. And that's the first reason businesses are rushing to trademark anything they can get away with. It's free real estate. Facebook successfully trademarked the word face, and if you wanted to create your own supernaturally powerful heroes, you can't call them superheroes, because that's a trademark which is jointly owned by DC and Marvel, the only companies that will ever be able to make superheroes without the permission of DC or Marvel. In the age of the influencer, where the line between brand and human are getting blurred, cunning celebrities are jumping in too. According to records from the Patent Office, the socialite Paris Hilton trademarked the phrase, "That's hot." Usain Bolt trademarked his signature move. And Kylie Jenner tried to trademark the name Kylie and got close too. But pressure from the singer Kylie Minogue resulted in the application being rejected. If it does work though, a successful trademark can add significant value to any business. In my own experience as an investment banker, I worked on several acquisitions where the purchasing company was buying a terrible business with bad fundamentals exclusively because they wanted to secure the business trademarks. And driving up the value of their business without really doing anything is just the first reason. So it's time to learn how money works to find out why businesses are desperately trying to trademark everything all of a sudden. This week's lesson was sponsored by Brilliant. This holiday season, instead of downloading Netflix shows that make your mind dull for that long trip, keep your mind sharp with Brilliant. Brilliant is the best way to learn math, data science, and computer science interactively. Using Brilliant is fun, and I personally love using it myself. And it's why I am so proud that I've worked with them for as long as I have. I recently finished a course they offered called How Technology Works, and I learned a variety of interesting things like how video compression works, GPD, and strong passwords. By committing 10 to 20 minutes a day on Brilliant, you can pick up a ton of newfound knowledge easily from the flexibility of your phone, tablet, or desktop computer. Using Brilliant makes you smarter, providing you hands-on learning from basic to advanced comprehension levels. For us busy people, Brilliant is the best way to learn, giving us visual learning that allows us to pick up our phones and move through lessons with ease, much in the same way you'd check your social media. It doesn't feel daunting like a school assignment. It's enjoyable and fun. To get Brilliant for free for 30 days, go to brilliant.org/howmoneyworks or click the link in the description, and the first 200 of you will get 20% off Brilliant's annual premium subscription. Claiming ownership over something as vague as a word is a great shield against potential competitors, but it can also be a great weapon. The largest tech companies have been buying up competition with strong trademarks and patents for years now, because it builds up their arsenal in the dumbest corporate war ever. These companies now file so many patents and trademarks that it's basically impossible for their competition to operate without violating their intellectual property. Earlier this year, patent USD 593087S1 expired, but when it was current, it gave its owner Apple Inc. the patent for an electronic device in the shape of a rectangle with rounded corners. If you have looked at any smartphone made in the last 20 years, it's probably a rectangle with rounded corners. These companies have thousands of such patents and trademarks. So why didn't they force all of its competitors to start making phones in the shape of a triangle? They didn't do it because if they did, then Google would fire back with the millions, yes millions, of trademarks and patents they own, and neither company would be able to make anything. Patents and trademarks have become a nuclear stockpile in a legal game of mutually assured tech destruction. Some companies have found that patents and trademarks are so valuable that they don't even bother running any other part of the business. Adam Neumann, the founder of WeWork, personally trademarked the word we, and then sold it to his own company so they could use it in their branding for WeWork as well as their spin-off brands. We Live, a dorm-style co-living space, We Grow, a childcare service, and Rise by We, a health and wellness franchise. Neumann had to return the $6 million of investor money he used to pay himself for his own registered trademark from his own company. But there are people that are much better at leveraging the value of trademarks. After leaving the company, former Microsoft Chief Technology Officer Nathan Myhrvold started an investment firm called Intellectual Ventures. This investment firm buys up companies that are out of business but still hold valuable intellectual property. They then threaten other companies with lawsuits if they are using something that fits the broad definition of their trademarks, because most companies don't want to deal with a business that exists solely to sue other businesses. Intellectual Ventures also has a large team of employees who work to file as many patents as they can. This company is the largest and best funded example of a patent troll, and businesses like these are the second reason why companies are in a desperate race to trademark everything. It's a game of trademark or be trademarked. A lot of trademarks are specific to a business use case. For example, Facebook has registered trademarks for words such as face, like, and wall. But those trademarks can only apply to uses for social media websites. So Zuckerberg can't sue a drywalling company. Apple is free to use FaceTime since it's not a social media competitor. And you can even like this video? Social media platforms didn't even exist 30 years ago. Now it's a $1 trillion market. So businesses have realized that it's a good strategy to trademark as much as they can when a new technology emerges. If it does become a big market, they will make it harder for other companies to compete. And if other companies also have trademarks in the space, they can use the threat of legal retaliation to keep their company safe. Even if the company doesn't create a commercially viable product with their patents and trademarks, they can just sell them or use them to make money through licensing to companies that weren't fast enough to trademark everything first. If a new technology doesn't create a big market, then it doesn't matter, because the price to register a trademark can be as low as $250, which may as well be free to a company worth billions of dollars. No market is pushing the latest rush of patent and trademark filings harder than AI. The work of OpenAI and other generative AI applications has got investors and other business leaders excited about the applications of this technology, so they are going on a patenting spree to carve out their corner of what Bloomberg Intelligence is projected to be a $1 trillion market in the next decade. If companies spend the money on R&D to make this technology better, they should be rewarded for taking that risk. But AI is speeding up the race to trademark everything for a more sinister reason as well. And that's because it's going to be harder for small businesses to hide in the future. The world is too big for any company to check everywhere to make sure that nobody is infringing on their trademarks without their permission. Sites like Alibaba, Temu, Wish.com, Etsy, eBay, and even Amazon are full of knockoff products that work off the business model of, it's not illegal if we don't get caught. For a long time, this has worked. Because no matter how many real people have to monitor these sites, they can't keep up with the people posting new products with slightly altered photos and descriptions. But AI could change that. There are already dozens of AI services working with companies that train models to detect websites that might be stealing the branding that they tried so hard to protect. These programs can work 24/7 and detect new listings as soon as they appear. Once these programs have found suspicious activity, holding an official trademark registration helps to simplify the process of getting products, videos, or entire websites removed because the companies hosting the page often won't take any action unless there is a clear official owner of the intellectual property in question. Copyright detection algorithms are not new. If you have ever posted a video on YouTube with a song that doesn't belong to you, then you will know that it almost immediately gets flagged. But new AI tools extend that functionality to other markets like physical products. It's harder for a computer to check if a random picture of a sneaker is similar enough to another sneaker for it to be considered trademark infringement than it is to detect a specific song or movie which will always look or sound the same. Until recently, the most advanced computer algorithms struggled to even tell if a shoe was a shoe. But AI image detection has made advanced image comparisons possible across the entire internet. And they don't depend on the site host to check themselves like YouTube does. The book Artificial Intelligence and Intellectual Property, which was written by 3 law professors, also reveals another reason why companies are rushing to do this right now, which is that AI can be used to detect trademarks, but it's also trained on data which itself could be trademarked. GPT-4 has been trained on terabytes of data scraped from the internet, and a lot of that is going to include works and branding that have value to their creators. Companies know that if they can clearly make a claim over a trademark now, it's going to make it harder for people to use generative AI to compete in their markets. According to a report by the Harvard Business Review, one of the most popular use cases for image-generating AIs is to create a logo. This is useful to small businesses that want to create a new logo or update their old one, but don't have the skills to create their own logo from scratch or the money to pay a graphic designer to do it for them. The problem is every single logo created from AI will be a blend of other trademarked company logos pulled from the internet for training data. The law hasn't caught up with technology yet. One argument is that professional graphic designers will be pulling their own experience creating logos, and part of that experience will be the inspiration they got from looking at other trademarked logos. The other argument is that they aren't directly taking those works and feeding them into a computer, so their creations are original. Whatever side wins, companies want to be prepared. And the best way to be prepared is to build themselves a fortress of trademarks. The people who have been having this fight before trademark laws even existed are comedians. The line between inspiration and joke stealing has been long debated. Go and watch The Men Who Mock Kings over on How History Works to see how they've always secretly been some of the most influential men in the world. And if you want to learn more about the ridiculous use of trademarks in corporate America, I will be writing an article about it from my own experience as an investment banker. So to read that, subscribe to my totally free email newsletter Compounded Daily to keep on learning how money works.